dialed in to Box and Brews, you might hear something you can use. Like tips on your cash or tips on the suds. You're gonna want to use the smarts of these studs. Cause they know the brews, and they know the box, and they know they can't help the stubborn fucks. So listen up, cause shit's not funny. And save yourself some beer money. Bucks and brews.
Bucks and
Bucks and brews.
Bucks and Brews.
So we are back on Bucks and Brews. Took us a little bit there to get set up, but nobody knows that except for the few of us.
Oh, what a great song.
You were waiting on that one.
I was.
So I sponsored us this week, Nick.
Oh, I appreciate
Do you
that.
want to give a shout out to who?
I do. I say, big shout out to David for the sponsor, but also to the Still Brewing. The Still Brewing sponsored us not too long back. Gave us a great 6-pack of this exact beer, Hawaii 5 Ale. It's a blonde ale with pineapple, coconut, mango, peach, and guava. It's a 6.4% alcohol by volume. We all agree that it's just a really good beer.
This is Mike's first taste. Mike, what do you think?
It's very good. It's smooth. You get the fruit background, but it's not too in-your-face aggressive.
Sick, gosh, and so they supported us. We're going to support right back.
Absolutely.
It's sick, because that's who we are.
So we're joined tonight
We are.
by Professor David Seawick, who has joined us before and happens to be one of my absolute oldest and dearest friends. We've known each other since elementary school.
It does put him pretty old.
Yeah, because I'm old as dirt.
Was it like one room schoolhouse back when you guys went together?
Fuck you.
Yeah,
So-
not quite. Pretty
and then-
close,
and then-
but not
Might have
quite.
been 2, because there might have been an indoor bathroom.
It's
Yeah.
like-
Hey, you're older than all of us.
then,
Hey, we had 2 grades. There are 2 classes for each grade.
Yeah, that's right.
Wait.
Cooper Elementary.
And we had 3 elementary schools in Plainwell.
And it's like we're also joined by a guest who's been with us
Many times.
quite a bit.
But it's been a while.
I say he thinks he's better than us, and he can just not show up half the time now. I call him part time.
And then about nights I'm not actually busy.
Yeah, say, Mr. Mike Benson, appreciate you joining us.
So before we get too far into this, I have exciting news.
Well, I haven't talked about the rest of my beers that I'm drinking.
But you're gonna wait because this is very exciting.
Probably going to trump my beers.
So I think it is. So you asked,
I did.
and MLVC has delivered.
MLVC,
They have delivered. So we have a new theme song.
folks. This was we put it out there so that anybody that can help us with a theme song. We're excited to air it for the first time tonight.
We're gonna try to play it on Podbean. We're gonna see if that works. It may or may not.
You've dialed in to Box and Brews, you might hear something you can use. Like tips on your cash or tips on the suds. You're gonna want to use the smarts of these studs. Cause they know the brews, and they know the box, and they know they can't help the stubborn fucks. So listen up, cause shit's not funny. And save yourself some beer money. Bucks and brews.
Bucks and
Bucks and brews.
Bucks and Brews.
I don't know if you were able to hear that on Zoom, David, but we're very
I wasn't, but
excited
I saw
about it.
Mike getting down pretty good, and
Yeah,
Nick busted a couple moves in there too. So I figured it was a good tune, and I'll
was,
listen back and I'll see what I was missing.
Yeah, it's we were very excited about it. Yeah, you got the cash register sound in there. You
Yep.
got the popping a beer open and pouring it in there.
Yeah.
Star Wars Chris had a home run,
and
and his buddy, whose name I do not know
we definitely appreciate that.
very much.
Gosh, what a fantastic theme song.
So go ahead and talk about your beers, Nick. We'll talk about what we're drinking and let David talk about what he's drinking because this is very, very exciting.
So one more real quick shout out. That's Still Brewing,
That's
of course. That's what I'm starting with. Turning to my buy one get one, or no, they were both half off when you bought 2.
Right.
So buy one get
So
one.
buy one,
free.
get one.
Founders Solid Gold, premium lager. Founders, of course, near and dear to our heart, being from Grand Rapids. So really excited for tonight's episode. Well, Mike, you're our guest of honor. What are you drinking?
All right, I've got, after I'm done with my Hawaii 5 Ale, a Blake's. It's called Apple Lantern. It's advertised as a roasted pumpkin hard cider, but I did have one over the weekend, and the roasted pumpkin is kind of false advertising. It is definitely cider. If you think you're going to get a nice burst of pumpkin, don't get this. But other than that, it's a good beer. And then after that, if there's time and I'm feeling up to it, a Pigeon Hill salted caramel porter, which is also something I had not too long ago. It's absolutely delicious.
Love Pigeon Hill, and I have to agree. I had that apple lantern.
Apple lantern.
Apple lantern. I had that with you, and I could not taste any apple or
Pumpkin.
any pumpkin. I swear I'm not drunk.
Yeah.
3 drinks, 3 sips. Swear I'm not drunk. Anyways, back to what I have. I have, thanks to Nick, a Blake's hard cider triple jam,
Yeah.
which I will partner with a peanut butter porter from Saugatuck
Oh,
when I'm done with Estelle.
and let's say, starting our night, we're gonna grind Mr. Seawick on all of his events that he's done for our own case studies. He didn't do it for himself; he did it for us. Don't let
Right.
him fool you. David, what are you drinking over there?
I am drinking in a plastic cup, purchased at Aldi for I think 89 cents for 50 of them. City of Lansing tap water. So
Oh.
can't beat it.
Better than the city of Flint.
Yeah,
telling
it
you.
is.
True story.
And City of Lansing tap water
might be
is
better than Flint water right now.
City of Lansing tap water has oftentimes received awards for its quality. And
Good.
actually, the City of Lansing's water system may make it into our discussion tonight when we're talking about work.
Fine with that.
You'll see why.
I'm excited.
So we asked David specifically on, because I posted something the other day. I did a case study, a blind study
Yeah, of course.
on jobs. And, everybody's saying there's a job shortage and nobody wants to work and all this stuff.
It's not a job shortage.
It's an employee shortage, right? There's not enough people to come work. Nobody wants to work. They just want to sit at home. So this guy applied to 2 jobs every day from September 1st through the end of the month. Okay. He got 16 responses by email, talked on the phone with 4 of those 16, had 1 interview. And the 1 interview was offering minimum wage pay for $8.60 an hour, even though they advertised it starting at 10. So I posted this because, of course, I take great delight in blowing up the argument of nobody wants to work by always throwing in nobody wants to work for bullshit pay.
Sure.
And my friend David here, who has almost always since I've known him, worked more than 1 job, even, through most of his teaching days in Lansing Community, jumped on right away and told us about a recent story. And honestly, there's no reason for me to say, David, why don't you tell us about that recent story?
Sure. For something to do, I thought over this spring, maybe 5 months ago, I applied for a part-time job. I got an advertisement for it on my LinkedIn page. And I'm not in the business of naming and shaming companies. It's the last thing I want to do. So I won't name what the company is, but they were in an area that's pretty closely related to what I do for a living.
Mm-hmm.
And my job, for folks who weren't listening the last time I was on, I work at Lansing Community College. I teach history there and also work as a full-time administrator in our workforce and corporate training area. So actually kind of have my finger on the pulse a little bit, depending on what company it is or what area organization it is in terms of the workforce needs in this area in Lansing, where I live. And so I saw that posting and I thought, wow, I'll share the story. I applied for this job really because I thought this would be an interesting way to get a little more experience working with people in the same line of work that I'm already in. And the job required quite a bit of formal education, a minimum of 1 and 2 or 3 college degrees, depending on what area you were going to be working in. And they also required you to go through an extensive application process, including producing some of your own original academic work. So I'm thinking, well, college I work at has positions that are somewhat comparable to this, and I know what they pay. So maybe this would pay something close to that. I go through the application process. I get the email back saying, we are very pleased to offer you your contract, because this is contracted work with no guarantee of work. Please read the terms and sign on the red line, and we'll put you to work. And so the contract was about probably 5,000 words long. And I like to read, so I read every one of those 5,000 words. And I'm not a lawyer, but I can understand how a labor contract is written. And I read through it, and it very quickly became obvious that they're going to pay me $15 an hour with no guarantee of work. And I replied back saying, the terms of this contract are not acceptable. And I assume from the wording of your offer letter that they are not negotiable. And if that's the case, I'm not interested. Thank you.
And when you say some type of degree, I mean, are we talking associates?
No, we're
bachelors?
talking about bachelor's, master's, and possibly a PhD.
Really?
Yep.
So you can't even get a 2-year. So you have to get a 4-year degree minimum to
Yeah.
go out and make $15 an hour.
Well,
For a service, that they would charge their customers probably $125 an hour.
Oh, at least.
they want at bare minimum a
Yeah.
4-year degree.
Yeah.
You
What
think I
they
should
really,
apply?
I think you should. So these are the things that kill me. So like I saw a job the other day hiring and you had to have a master's degree.
Yeah.
And it paid $15.60 an hour.
Oh.
And I'm going to tell you right now that what I see as the issue we have in probably mostly just this country is you find slaves and indentured servants by making them pay for college, getting $150,000 in debt, and then paying them $15 an hour and telling them to be happy with that money.
Man, we can go so many routes with this topic. Really fun.
Well,
Um,
yeah. And Dave, you're thinking exactly this. I wouldn't necessarily maybe use those terms, but you're thinking along the lines I was. And here's the thought that occurred to me after I sent that reply onto the Facebook post. And I did some quick math in my head. And part of the reply in the posting, by the way, was that I should mention was I made a comment in there that the company should understand, and I think many do, that the value of their workers is where they get their wealth from, right?
Mhm.
So we can walk over a field that's 20 square miles and it's got a bunch of iron ore sitting in the ground. That field's not worth anything right now. But if we hire men and women and build machines that men and women build and haul the iron ore out of there and then build a smelting factory, turn it into usable ore, we can build cars out of it. Now it's worth something. So where did the value come from? It came from the people that turned that good into a value. So I got to thinking, let's say you take a study at Michigan State University, big
Oh, yeah.
university right down the road here, and you get a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. So you're going to design electrical circuits for a living, maybe in buildings, maybe in electronics. And Michigan State University, if you got a bachelor's degree in engineering there, you did it in 4 years, just the tuition would cost you about $75,000. Okay?
Which
So-
does not include books, does not include living on campus if you live
No.
on campus.
Correct. That's the $500 and some dollars a credit hour they charge. And I don't know how many credit hours an engineering degree is, but it's around 120 hours. That's what most 4-year degrees are. So 120 credit hours times 500 some bucks, and you get about 75 grand in it. And my thought was, so if I am an engineering firm and my line of work is design electrical circuits for buildings, or maybe we are a company that designs circuits for folks that make electronics, we're going to hire an engineering staff on. And when we design these circuits and we sell them, we're going to make money off of it. How much value then, if I'm the company owner, is that engineering department, the engineers working in it, how much money is that adding to the wealth of this company? And okay, there's obviously that's not a super easy question to ask, but if we're looking at recruiting people into work and a lot of people that are recruited in positions are right out of college and they've got that degree in one hand and the pile of debt in the other. And it's time to make some of that money back. And they're going to be thinking, wow, I just spent 75 grand or 80 grand or 100 grand on this degree. I think I'm going to try to find a job that makes me, well, pay some of that money off. And I understand full well that the labor market is like anything else in a free market economy. There's risk involved, and you can't expect that getting a degree is like, guaranteed. It's not like going into the store and you pay them your $12 and you walk out there with your steak. It doesn't work that way. There's risk involved. There's investment involved, and you can't be guaranteed that one's going to lead to the other. But with that said, when a company is there recruiting workers, I think that there's a lot of things that if they took into mind, and the good ones do, in the value of the labor force and where that value comes from, we might not be having a conversation so much about these so-called lazy deadbeats. I don't see these people. I don't see a bunch of lazy people who are sitting around burning their eyes, staring at the sun, waiting for the Soylent Green to be dropped on their lawns every other day.
And I think that's the thing that always makes me angered by this whole discussion is the narrative out there is people are lazy, they don't want to work. And I get into this argument a lot. We're going to talk about him a little bit later with, my best friend, Mikey, because nobody wants to work where he works. I wouldn't work where he works either. He has a very physical job. They work way too many hours, and they want to start you out at $12, $13 an hour. And I'm sorry, I can go find, I could go to McDonald's and make $14, $15 an hour right now, and I'm not going to work as hard as what they're making their people work. We're, for the first time probably since the mid-90s, we're at a point where you really can set your terms as an employee. This is what I'm willing to do. This is what I want. And if you're not willing to pay me what I want and give me what I want, then I'm not working for you. And Nick knows that probably better than most people because he went through that last summer.
Yeah.
I mean, you had many interviews and they were like, well, don't ask this or don't ask that. And you're like, no, those are the things that are important to me. I'm going to ask.
Well, yeah, and funny because my brain works a little different than some people, right? I mean, I think that's a good thing about this world.
I think that's a good thing about us.
Yeah, but when you look at it, right? So if you're getting offered $15 an hour for a bachelor's degree, and I don't usually like to compare things to McDonald's because I think McDonald's their workforce expectation, right? I mean, you show up, let's say it's 9 to 5, which is not. You're expected to be there by 9 o'clock, punched in. If you're a minute late, you have a write up. You get a break when they tell you to take a break. You have set everything, and it's very demanding into their pay, right? So I think their pay is whatever, but the job itself is actually, it's a good job. I mean, when you look at
it can be a good job. It's not necessarily
right. Well, I think both that, but so,
absolutely.
What I am going to is, if these people are offering massive amounts of money, there's people like you that won't take the 15 an hour, right? Because you know your value. And then there's other people who are like, they're stuck, they're trapped. And basically what I'm seeing right now happen is that these companies know that people didn't have jobs, and the people that are coming out now are the ones that took unemployment for this entire time. Hey, they got to come back, so we might as well give them as little as possible to start working again, right? We don't need it yet. We want it, and we might as well trap them at the smaller amount. What I'm seeing happen is greatest sound around me. What I'm seeing happen right now is these lower paying jobs. The middle class, lower class is going to get smaller, right? I mean, the pay is not going up. We talked about that with inflation. We're getting to a lower point where people aren't going to be able to afford things, right? I mean, and that's going to come in. We're dealing with the nation debt right now, right? We're hitting the cap.
We talked about that last week.
Yep.
and the vote on it. We just kicked the can down the road to December now because, you know, Dickhead McConnell can't make a decision.
So, you
I
know,
brought a book to talk about that at one point if we get to it.
yeah, say, what I'm finding is
Folks, this is going to be like an 8-hour episode.
20 hours later.
I have a hard stop at 8, so I turn into a pumpkin then.
Right. At that point, call me Peter.
Pumpkin eater.
That's a fact. So, I knew it'd make you blush. You know, when you look at it, if companies, so the large companies, right? So this generational wealth money, let's say Walmart, let's say,
Heinz.
you know, Heinz, your big companies that are out there.
Yep.
If they close, all they hurt is the people below them, right? The generational money is going to be there for many generations. Amazon, I mean, he's free to that. So, like, if Amazon closed, it would only affect the job people. His life wouldn't change.
Not a bit.
Right. So, at this point, he doesn't need me. He doesn't need you. He doesn't need anybody else. Right.
Well, again,
He wants it because he wants it to grow and keep going because that's what we as entrepreneurs do. But
we've had that with all the businesses that have gone out of business, you know, that are big in the last 10, 15 years. Toys R Us. All their executives are rich.
Oh, yeah.
They don't really care that their company folded.
Yep. And so, you know, you'll get to a point where, hey, you know, I think we're going to, in a perfect world, you would bring the money back down, the value of $1, right?
Mm-hmm.
To a normal point and then restart, right? You'll have companies that'll try to get bigger and do things, but if these companies close and get rid of all these jobs, then you have a mass work amount of people, right? And people won't afford things, people won't buy things, keep closing, and you'll be able to start right back over at, you know, square one. The rich will get rich again really quick. The poor will have to take a small amount of money because the government's not going to be able to afford everybody. As much as people, oh, the government always funds people. We run out of money too, right? We will not put ourselves into a third world nation. We're not dumb enough to do that type of thing.
No, but what we're doing is we're trying to lift up those billionaires
Oh, 100%.
and shove down everybody else. I mean, that's why. So we look at like the infrastructure plan. I honestly, nothing's getting done in Washington, which is fucking ridiculous. But it's not getting done because they want to go, well, we don't want to raise taxes. We don't want to raise taxes. I don't make $400,000 a year. I don't give a shit.
See, and right, we talked about that.
Mhm.
Like I am never for any dollar over any amount of money, 50%, right? You should always take home more than you make. Or, you know.
Yeah, but again, they always did. It wasn't that they were paying 90% on
Whole
what
thing,
they
right.
brought in. It was 90% over
So
$10 million.
still, I mean,
Yeah, marginal tax rate. The effective tax rate is what you need to focus on. Marginal is called that because there's margins, and you move into one, you pay more taxes. Your income brackets, they call them margins. And effective tax rate is what you actually ended up paying. And the effective tax rates for the wealthiest people in the United States for a very brief period of time, especially to finance World War II, but also towards the end of the Great Depression, marginal tax rates were raised to very high points. Then the effective tax rate for some was quite high, but people that have a lot of money usually didn't get it by figuring out ways to throw it away. They figured out ways to keep it. And the tax laws were written in such a way that they still are, that there's all kinds of definitions of what counts as income and what doesn't, and what gets thrown into this category and what doesn't. So even right now, the top marginal tax rate, I think it's 37%.
Yeah.
You have to make, so every dollar over, I think it's $400 and some thousand of income, and money that you make on the stock market isn't considered the same type of income that the 37% marginal tax rate is applied to. That would be taxed at that rate, but the money you make below that is less. And then capital gains, which is how a lot, though not all, investment money is taxed, depending on when you actually take the profit. But that's a very important distinguishing factor. If you take it at a certain time, it's not counted as income, it's counted as capital gains. capital gains tax rates are a lot lower. I think they're capped at 15%. So
20, 20?
is it
15
higher?
is, yeah, 15 is between 40,000 and 250.
So you get above that and it's taxed higher. It's still not near the 37% that the marginal income tax rates are. So, I think the point of all this though is, and Nick, what you described is exactly what happened in the 1930s. It's how the Great Depression happened.
Yep.
The economy ran out of consumers, and when it ran out of consumers, businesses failed. So big corporations failed or came very near it in some cases. Ford Motor Company laid off 75% of its workforce between 1930 and 1933, and General Motors did the same thing, and so did all the other big major corporations in the United States, with a few exceptions. And the end result of that was massive unemployment, and it was the worst kind of spiral effect that an economy can suffer, because the consumers, we ran out of consumers is what happened. So that actually created a lot of new economic theories, which is a little bit maybe beyond what I need to get into, but it's the long and short of it was the economic theory that came out of it was when consumers run out of money, we got to give it to them.
Yep.
Then they'll spend it again. And when they spend money again, then the economy starts growing. So you make demand instead of making supply. If I had to sum it up in a sentence, that's how I would sum it up. And it was a British economist by the name of John Maynard Keynes who came up with this idea. And by about 1934, 1935, the United States government very much bought into it. And that's how the federal government dealt with the Great Depression until World War II came along. And then they didn't have to make demand anymore, because overnight, demand was there. It was making bombs to defeat the Nazis and the Japanese.
No, and that's it. Like, forgive me for my naiveness. I don't remember if it was Bush or if it was Obama or Clinton, I guess, that gave the like $1,000 to anybody that made over a certain amount of money, like stimulus money.
Well, Bush gave a stimulus check in can't remember what year that was, 1999 or 2000.
Yep.
And you either got $600 or $1,000.
Yeah, that's
I remember. I got $600 because I wasn't making very much money at the time.
Yeah, right. And so, like I remember that because that came through. We're not Trump did the same thing, right?
Well, and when you look at stimulus money, I mean, they phase it out the more you make.
Yeah.
Because what that money is for is to stimulate the economy.
Right. Which is what
if you give $1,000 to a rich person,
what are they going to do?
They're not spending.
No.
They're going to save it.
Well, what'd you do with your money, right? Like, I mean, mine probably legally is still in the bank.
Well, yeah, I invested my money when I got it. I might have paid a couple things, but for the most part, I'm like, hey, I got extra money. Let's throw this into my IRA. Because
sure, and that's what a lot of people did. And Dave, you described exactly the problem with that. The theory was exactly what I described with what the government did in the 1930s. It's John Maynard Keynes. Make consumers by giving them money and tell them to go out and spend it. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but there's people that get the money and they think, I don't really have anything to spend this on, and I like to save my money. I don't like to spend it anyway, so I'll throw it in this little investment or that bank account, and then that's great. The money's there, but it's not doing what it was intended to do, which is go out and put a down payment down on a car loan, or
that was a pretty big thing to me. Like, for some reason, it was the first time of this free money aspect of things.
Well, back then I was poor. I needed the money.
Right, but
sure.
And so I looked at it. Like, I looked at it even then, because I remember it being on TV for so long, because they were like, "Hey, it's stimulus," and they kept pushing people to go spend their money. Like, more than I remember anybody telling people to go spend their money. And and I've always been this conservative type of a mindset. And I said to myself, I was like, well, if I'm broke now, it's only going to look worse. So I might as well save this money until I absolutely have nothing else. Like, well, I stuffed it away, right? My wife, girlfriend at the time, like, I think she might have paid off some debt real quick. But like, it didn't do any goods, right? We didn't buy services. We didn't buy goods. I stuffed it away. Like, sure, I might have turned it into a house a few years later. But
I'm going to bring up a conversation that Mike and I had earlier on his way up. So
Yeah.
we were hoping to be joined by, my best friend, Mikey, who I love to death, but is an idiot. I say that because he's not here as usual.
Yeah.
But that's a different story. And Mike and I were talking, and one of the reasons he didn't come up, according to him, was I just don't have the money. Mike offered to drive him.
Yep.
And we were going to do the podcast, and there was literally no money they had to spend. And I said to Mike, I'm like, listen, he works all this overtime. He doesn't have anything to spend the money on.
Mhm.
What the hell's going on? What'd you tell me? Do you remember?
Well, I said that he's got the mindset, like, maybe not you, but like David and I, and maybe even you, Dave, when we were in our like early to mid 20s, where it was like, oh, we have this money, let's spend it. Or, hey, I've got a girlfriend right now, let's spend it on her,
and trust me, like it's
I
weird.
didn't have that mindset.
I feel
was
like I'm
always
going.
the one that you gotta save it because you never know when that.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah,
gonna
and I
hit the
was
fan.
always spending money I shouldn't spend.
I didn't spend money I didn't have type thing. But lately right now, like I love to bowl, right? I bowl
Yep.
Friday nights, but I've now been bowling for 6 weeks. My bar tab hasn't been less than $100.
Yep.
Every Saturday I wake up and go, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yep.
Like if I keep this up, that's 33 weeks of bowling, that's $3,300 for a dumbass. Like, and I'm like, you gotta stop.
Yep.
Right. And then I'm like, I get there, I'm like, I'm just here to have fun. Like I have to relax. I need this. And so then I'm like, but I can do the same off of $50, right?
Well, but that's part of the
Like,
problem. You
Yeah.
you need to find these outlets.
Yeah.
So, I like to jump around. So let's jump around.
Yeah.
So
Get down.
we got a message the other day that made me really happy.
We did at like 1 a.m.
Yeah. Wanted to know about budgeting and bill management.
Yep.
Which I thought was fantastic.
Yep.
And I mean, part of that leads me into you have to budget everything you do, but at the same time, you still have to have some fun.
Yes.
Okay, because if you're not having any fun, what the hell are you doing?
No.
So, I mean, we've talked about it quite a bit on here. I tried to die this year.
Mhm.
And on Sunday, Mike and I, with my wife and daughter, are going to Florida, and then we're hopping on a boat, and we're going to be gone for 5 days
Yeah.
on a boat.
I'm on a boat.
And I'm not going to have a care in the world at that point. I don't give a shit. Anna's going to watch my cat. She's going to be at my house. I know everything's taken care of there. My mom's fine. She's got mad if she needs something. And I'm going to be on a boat. I'm going to have a drink in my hand.
My ties.
I'm going to go sing some adult karaoke.
There you go.
I'm going to go to 80s DJ night.
Dude, sing the Dan band.
Dude, if they have any of those songs, I'm going to sing them in the style of the Dan
I
band.
can't wait.
They'll have trouble, but
Dude, I'm totally.
Yeah.
If they have that, we're singing it as the Dan band.
So, yeah, right. And that's the whole thing is like, we were talking about it kind of a little bit beforehand.
Yeah.
We get excited that people that we don't know are reaching out for this advice because we understand where life can be. I've been poor. You've been poor. You've been below poor, right? In my life, in theory, I've never been below $1. Like, I've never been in debt, like without having enough cash to cover it, right? I'm the first to admit I've taken out 1% loans while I'm earning 3% on my, stuff. Like I've never been negative, right? So David, you I don't remember, you talked either before or right when we hopped on that you like to read.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about your letter that they sent you. So how many books do you read in a year, I guess, or a week or a month, if you know roughly?
Oh, when I have time, it varies. I mean, over the course of a year, some years it's not very many, maybe 25 or 30, and then other years maybe I get through 50.
Right, which is like, so like to you, that's not very many.
So I
David,
read
how
like
many-
two,
how
3
many-
books a year.
You two or three. How many do you read?
for 3.
Like I've read now officially 3. Well, I've physically read 2 books in my life. Well, actually, the first one was read. So I physically read 1 book my whole life. Okay, like, and
This includes school, right?
So school, Number the Stars. It's this book. It's called Number the Stars. It was read to me in third grade. I have a very smart brain where I have a great memory. So I did all my book reports literally from third grade all the way to high school on this book. Right. I had different teachers. I turn it in. That was my book report. Right. People always think this is like a lie. And I'm like, no, like I know the book. Why not do something I know exactly what it's about? Right. If you ask me the questions, I can tell you about it. Right. Little girl, Nazi Germany, right? Like I can tell you this.
Yeah.
Dog comes sniff, she has to hide the meat. So I read, the only book I've really read is Rich Dad Poor Dad from Robert Kiyosaki. Absolutely hated it. Like because I already had the knowledge, so it didn't impact me the way that everybody talked about it. But a friend of mine bought me a book on Audible. And I happened to be driving to Lansing and
So you listen to
and back. Yep. And then I had to drive to Muskegon the next day and back. So I listened to it's called Life on Air. It's like Millionaire, but Life on Air. I listened to it, absolutely loved it. Felt the emotional connection to because like instantly it starts out like this guy, real estate type thing. And how he's devoting so much. We talk about being workaholics, and it's like I know I am, right? Like, like I just if I'm with my wife and all that, like I'll answer the phone because I just can't not be responsible. This talks about kind of like, hey, change your mindset. I think it's a multi-level marketing type thing in some way, shape, or form. I don't really know. But love the book. I haven't changed my life and I need to focus on it. But when we get these types of things for people that are like, hey, how do we budget? It's like, man, David's going on vacation. I've been on vacation. You've been on. How do we do this more often, right? Like, how can we teach people to get there?
I'm already planning the next vacation.
Yeah. So, David, I like if you get a chance, read Life on Air if you haven't already, because you're a workaholic. I want to know, like, I'd love to have a conversation with somebody else who's read it. I told my wife about it. I was like, hey, you should. She hated the guy's voice when I was listening to it. I was like, just read it. Like, I think it'd be awesome because it's the only thing I've actually read in my life, or
Sounds a little bit like a book I read about 3 years ago by the author was the guy that founded the Keller Williams real estate franchise.
Gary Keller. Yeah.
Yeah, the book is called The One Thing.
One thing. Yeah.
And it's like a kind of a corporate leadership, professional leadership type book. It basically the premise is that organize your life around priorities and principles and try to do one thing at a time good, and then all the other things that you have in your order of priorities you'll also do good. And I mean it's great advice regardless if you're seeking whatever your version of good is.
Yeah.
And this guy wrote it because that was how he built his real estate franchise company up, but then he tried to apply it to other things in life too. I mean, I thought it was quite interesting. And he put together a program that I actually did part of it through my job, which is kind of neat. So it was like being in class again. And,
Yeah.
I work at a college, so we do that sort of thing from time to time. And it was good. I like that. I'll have to check that one out. It sounds like something I'd be interested in.
I have one free credit on Audible still, and I'm gonna get rid of it because I don't do monthly subscription. $15 a month.
Yep.
But I was thinking about Gary Keller.
Audible is great. I oftentimes I'll buy a book and then I'll read it, and then if I really want to get to part of it and I don't have time, I'll find where it is on the Audible book.
Yeah.
Listen to that part of it, and then that night before I go to bed, okay, now I got my hour to read again. I'll find where I am in the paperback, the hardcover, and read it, and it's kind of like hybrid reading.
I said I've never really seen Life in There and how thick it is. It's 6.5 hours on Audible, but I know if I were to read it, it would take me 2 weeks, right? I mean, I can't read that fast. Like in my comprehension wouldn't be the same as somebody else. Like if I have this conversation, I will remember everything. If you write it down, God, we're lost, right? Like when you talk about getting a thing offered to you, like I can read an offer for my house. I look at the numbers, I look at this, and I'm like, all right. And I have somebody else go, hey, I need you to tell me if I'm getting screwed on this part.
Which is good to have that somebody else there. But I have noticed in life that when you get a big document like that and you discover a detail in it, it's great to ask a question, even if you know the answer to it, related to that detail, because the person that's negotiating the contract with you then knows, wow, he actually read it. That's why Van Halen had in their contract that the road setup crew, the venue they were at, couldn't put, it was either red or brown, I can't remember,
Brown.
some color, brown M&Ms in their dressing room. It had nothing to do with M&Ms. They didn't give a crap about that. It was because they had learned, I think from Eddie Van Halen's father, who was a professional musician as well, that you got to make sure that your roadies have followed the contract. I think Eddie almost got electrocuted when their amps were wired up wrong at an early concert that the band played, and it really scared him for good reason. And I think that's when his dad gave him a lesson that there's some story like that behind it, that, hey, put a clause, a rider in your contract that's minuscule, so it's not like the show can't go on if they don't follow it, but then you'll know that they actually read the contract. So that's why they did that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, I put a question out there, and I did this for a specific reason, and we'll talk off the air about that, because I think you and I are going to have a financial consult coming up.
We definitely will have, right? I
Well,
mean,
you don't know about this one.
oh, a consult with somebody else besides my issue.
Yes.
Oh, this is going to be great.
So I think we're going to have one. But I had asked the question yesterday on Facebook of why are people so scared to talk about their
Finances, yeah.
finances?
Yeah.
And I mean,
Absolutely love the responses.
I have them here.
Yeah.
The 4 that we got. One person said, it might be due to bragging, or others have seen financial decisions or information as private, don't want to share it, or they're afraid about opening up about it because people see them differently. One person said nosy relatives who will use the information to loudly compare you to everyone else in their worldview. And then
that one sounded like it was like a true statement. Like
absolutely,
they've lived this, right?
And then embarrassed they aren't earning as much as others, unable to save or accumulate wealth, and different financial strategies and priorities yielding different results. Now, I mean, I've seen this specifically because I helped bail out Mikey.
Yep.
When Mike got divorced, him and I sat down and he tore open his finances and he said, "This is what I have. What do you think?"
Yeah.
And I told him originally, listen, I'm not the be all end all here, but this is what I think.
Right.
And that was probably, God, I got to say 2015, maybe?
Yeah.
2016, maybe, the beginning of?
Thinking about that on my write-up, or, things I was thinking, because I got to thinking about going out Mike. I'm like, that was probably at least years ago. And, I got divorced and, we did have that conversation. And I thought, Mike, that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you basically bailed him out, with Don calling up his debt collectors and stuff like that. And,
Well, and I think we've touched on this before, but
he didn't, I mean, again, he didn't learn from that, and he's basically making those same mistakes again.
so he was probably 20,000 in debt.
Yeah.
And he wanted to file bankruptcy, and he came to me and he's like, I need to file bankruptcy, help. So we went through the stuff and I'm like, dude, I don't think you have enough money here that you owe to file bankruptcy, because of course the world's changed in the 10 or 12 years since I had filed bankruptcy. Okay, so I filed like in 2002. He came to me in like 2012 or so. And I'm like, honestly, I think this stuff can be paid off. So he came up on another day and Dawn called as his fiance and negotiated every bill. And some of them were like, well, we'll take payments here and here. And he's like, yeah, I can make that, no problem. And some of them were like, well, you owe us $6,000, but if you just pay us now $4,000, we'll just be done. So I literally told Dawn, I'm like, just take the checkbook, give him a damn check number, and get it done. He can pay me. I don't care. And we pulled him out of all of that debt. He had it all paid off in 18 months, $20,000. And I had told Mike that when he got divorced, I'm like, listen, I helped Mikey pay off his crap in 18 months. I'm not saying I'm the be all end all, but show me what you have, and I think we can set a plan forward. And that's at least 5-6 years ago. And honestly, did it help?
Yeah, I mean, I'm often fault. everything of the debt. Like I said, I've got a couple little loan payments I'm paying off. I've got my mortgage. Otherwise, my credit card purchases are paid off monthly.
Well, and it's not like you were running up debt. You found out there was
Yes.
debt when you got divorced.
Yeah.
She ran it.
It's probably relatively similar, 15 to
Yeah.
20,000.
And it wasn't like you were ignoring it, but she was taking care of the bills, so you were just happy to do what you did.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of that out there. You don't necessarily know who's spending the money or what they're spending.
Well, we talk about that quite a bit. Like, know your significant other, know things, right? Like,
Yep.
One thing that Dave Ramsey and I don't agree upon, right? There's a few things.
Many things I don't agree
Yes,
on.
yeah, right. But like, he said, hey, if you're in a house and you're married, like you only move in with your spouse, right? She has to be married to you. And then you keep everything separate. And then you join accounts, right? You have to trust in the other person. It's not that I don't trust in my wife. It's not anywhere near that, right? And he'll fight me till he's blue in the face just as much as I will. And it's like, no, I know my wife has a spending habit.
Yep.
Yes, we could do, honestly, right? She's probably right. We can go on a million vacations with the money, right? And we'd be completely fine. But taking into effect my mental health and my want and my needs, right? Like, in my opinion, we're doing fine. So like, hey, this is mine. Like, we look at accounts today, right? My account, my wife will still tell you even today, like, oh, you have all this excess money. You could too, but I've tried telling you, but again, she will not listen to me just as much as your wife will not listen to you, right? Like,
Right.
Your wife will listen to me more than she'll listen to you about finances, right? Like, she finds you dumber. She just, right? You talk about everything in your life. So there's one thing that, they have to be combative.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have to be combative with my wife, right? Like, hey, I'm right about this. Like, my wife is in the medical field, and I fight with my wife about medical shit, right? Like, because that's who I am. Like, I have opinions on it, right?
Men are naturally
But
fighters.
Nick, you got the point. Like, you got all this excess. I put it to the separate account from your wife's. But if something were to happen to Courtney
It's there. It's her.
and she needed $10,000 for something,
Yeah.
it would be hers.
Like-
It's not like you're saying my money, and that's where I think some people take it to the absolute opposite, where it's like, no, this is my money. If you're $10,000, you have to pay it off.
Yeah, and like, so we talked about $10,000, right? So if and this is how I feel, right? We went and bought my wife a car, right? I drove to Chicago. We bought her a 2005 Honda Pilot. Okay, I paid $3,700. It has 96,000 miles on it. It's fully loaded. I think there's one small repair that I just found out that I'm gonna have to make. We made it all the way back from Chicago, but like, I'll be $400 maybe, right? So I'm still $4,100 for a fully loaded Honda Pilot that she's absolutely in love with. But if I just told her, hey, go buy a car, whatever, she would probably go spend $10,000 to $20,000. She'd go buy a used car, like whatever, and just she had no problem with it, right? And like me, I'm like, hey, let's do a financial, figure this out. Like, if this car lasts me, I'll spend $1,000 a year. That's kind of my average, right? Like, not much. And so if this Honda Pilot lasts me 4 years, I've gotten my money out of it. Like, I don't really care. Like, and hers, the other one that she had, I think we paid $4,000. I don't know if it lasted 4 years. We're probably just shy of it. But I know worst case scenario, it still runs a drive, it's got a broken exhaust or whatever. And so I was like, all right, let's get a new one. Yep. 1900 to fix the exhaust, or I'll probably sell it for $1,200, right? But this next one, Hondas are meant to last forever. Think about it. Like, I have a 2010 Scion XB release edition. I'm absolutely loving my car. Everybody knows this. I had it when I bought 33,000 miles on it. I now have just shy of 170,000 on it. I drive it everywhere, and I've had it for 8 years now. 9, like, I drive these things until they're done. Right? Like, there's a price where I won't put into it. And the good thing for me is I've actually found the exact same car, right, for sale. It's got 70,000 miles on it. So I know that, hey, I'm getting up there in miles. If this breaks and it's going to cost me $2,000 to fix, my car's gone, right? I will just go buy the same exact one, spend, negotiate the price,
Right.
and I'll be right back on the road with my true love of a car. I love that car. I can't tell you. I love it more than I like my truck. I love my truck. So
not to keep moving us along here, 'cause we're going to get back to some of
Oh,
the stuff
we
we've
have to.
already hit.
Yeah.
But we have so much to get to. So I'm going to get to Ndamukong right now. So I'm a Bears fan, so I hate this guy because he played for the Lions.
yeah, and I'm a Lions fan, so I hate this guy because
He left the Lions.
did not stay with me. Broke my heart, Sue. You broke my heart.
I saw this tweet from him the other day, and I'm like, oh my God, Nick and I are going to love him again.
Yeah.
So he tweeted out, it was this long tweet. It was talking about money. And he basically set out, these are the things you have to do, which I love. I love when anybody says, this is what you have to do to build wealth.
Yep.
And one of it was learn the basics and learn them early.
Yep.
What's the big word there, Nick?
It literally says budgeting.
Budgeting.
Yep.
So, you know how I feel about budgeting.
Oh yeah.
So,
I mean,
make money work while you sleep, which is investing.
which and, I don't think and it's funny because I think we need to hit on that a little bit more because we always talk about compound interest, right? And people
do.
always say the word, right?
Yep.
Compound interest, and I think there's got to be a way. Like we have to do a physical representation of compound interest because people are always, oh, you got to make your money work for itself. And they always use like these like lingos and stuff like that. It's like
Regular people don't understand.
right, like okay, again, we have $1,000. You've made $1, so
Yep.
1,001. Now that $1 next month will make you 1 penny. So now you have 1,002 and 1 penny. Like that,
Yep.
that $1 is what. Who cares about your 1,000? Yes, it's the bigger amount of money, but like the awesome fact is that $1 made you more money, right? Like you're making money on the money, and then next month that penny will make a half a penny or whatever it would be, right? Like so you're still making a penny plus the half. Like it's huge. That like it takes so long to realize how much of an impact it is, and I think that's why people don't really care. It's not instant gratification. Really, it's huge, right? Like people are like, oh, flipping's the way to go. Instant money. Sure, it's great for instant money, but take it and invest it like IRAs.
You
right?
have to keep
Well,
building
like,
on that.
you have to.
So number 3, create your own financial opportunities and own them.
Yep.
4, help others on the journey, pay it forward, which is what you and I try to do weekly.
Oh, is that what this is?
I think so.
Oh, cheers, thoughts. You too.
You need a lot less than you think to have a good life. And I think that's absolutely true.
Oh my goodness, yes.
So I kept reading a lot of what he had to say. And with Sue, one of the big things for him was, so he came into money, obviously, at a very young age because.
He was young when he got drafted.
Correct. So you get drafted, you're making millions of dollars all of a sudden, and nobody's taught any of these kids what to do with that money or how to handle that money.
If anything, right? Like most inner city athletes, right? So they're not going to amount to shit, right? Like
Exactly.
I mean, I was a good bowler. I got a
Yep.
lot of scholarship money, but like everybody my whole life always told me, don't count on money from bowling. It's not. So like when you're told that, like you're gonna fail. Like there's something in you. I never really told people I was gonna get into real estate because I didn't know it. And like then I got into it, and I got around the right people right away, and they're like, "Hey, you're gonna be." And now people are like, "Hey, yeah, but there's still people. No, I won't do it. It doesn't make money. I've seen this crash, and it's like, man, okay, sure, completely okay with that. But like when you're going for the 1%, right? Everybody will tell you you'll never get to the 1%, right? Like nobody believes that anybody else will get there because they don't feel personally they can.
You and I talked yesterday about what happens if the market crashes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it crashes.
Yep.
Are you selling everything right now? Because if you're not, who cares?
Right.
I don't care. Now, my mom would care.
Yeah,
She's 68 years old. Your mom would care.
yeah, she's 59, about to lose her job in 13 days.
How old am I?
You're old.
Am I 44 now?
I'm 33 or 44.
So my mom's 69 now.
Yeah.
So yeah, she would care.
Yep.
But I, on the other hand, not care.
We can tell the mature one here.
Yeah, no shit.
Didn't even laugh about that. Wow.
Well, I was still thinking about a little bit Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah.
You know, And actually, what you guys are talking about here, the way different people would react, I mean, I think it's also back to the point that I think this part of the conversation was going off of, which was why some people talk about money and some won't, their money or others. And so much of it is financial education is learned when you're a little kid. I mean,
So young.
Sue grew up in a solidly middle class house. Both of his parents were professionally employed, and I think his mother was an immigrant, wasn't she? I think she was from Jamaica, if I remember right.
Yep.
But so he had good role models, and a lot of people that end up becoming professional athletes, they blow their money, and
Mhm.
maybe it's because some of them don't have good role models growing up. Maybe some of them, it's just, well, even if they did, those role models maybe weren't good financial role models. I think Sue probably had both. And, I think one of the reasons why, Dave, I read that post on Facebook about, why are some people hesitant to talk about finance? And I really do think it's the two biggest reasons are either people don't have any money and they're kind of ashamed of it, or they do and they're kind of ashamed of it. So
I know. I think there's a third one. Sorry, but it was. I guess like I see the two sides, right? But in my grandma's rules, right, where things you don't talk about: money, politics, and religion.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Like, and just spoken thing. Not like me being the combative little asshole that I am,
See,
right? Like I would always bring up those three things.
Yeah, I totally think that's sports shit.
Yeah.
So like I know Mike and I
different
are
values.
recovered-
I mean, people back then were, I don't know, maybe they had a different public politeness anyways, but
Well,
you know.
I know Mike and I are recovering Catholics.
I was a Catholic.
We talk about money all the time.
Yep.
Dave, I believe you are a Catholic.
Of course.
Is it
You know-
with Mike, or-
Yeah, Mike Benson, Mike, you and I went to the same parish growing up.
Yeah.
St.
So
Margaret's and Otsego.
Actually, honestly, I went there too.
did I ever?
Yes.
But
great.
I stopped at almost 5 years of age because
Okay.
so like Mike, my grandmother wanted me to go to St. Margaret's.
Yep.
And my mom took me and they said, well, he's not ready for school. He's too clingy. Because my mom worked second shift. So I wasn't around her a lot. So when I was around her, I was clingy.
Imagine that, a small child wanting to be around his mother.
No kidding, right?
Wow,
So
what a bizarre thing that
He's
that
still
must
wild.
have been.
father decided I was not ready for school, which pissed my grandmother off. So she went over to Cooper with me, Cooper Elementary, and they said, oh yeah, he's ready for school.
I'll take him.
And she goes,
Well taken.
she went back to father and goes, fuck you, we're never coming
Oh,
back.
jeez.
So I went to CCD. All you boys went to CCD. Well, David probably not. He was out by then, right?
Well, we got the fun of it was during school. We got,
Oh, so you went
on
to
our-
a Catholic school.
yes.
He did, yes.
That's
Up
Yeah.
through 8th grade.
That's how
My
David's
mother-
mom was my teacher.
That's right. My
I,
mother was his teacher.
What'd you-
That's right.
So
Which
My-
David actually went to school with me.
my
Yeah.
teacher in
Yes,
fourth
public
grade-
schools. My parents didn't have the money to send us to St.
Correct.
My
Partially
teacher in
because
They
fourth
didn't
grade.
give teacher, bonuses or whatever then.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I know I've said this before on episodes with David, but we played baseball many, many years together. His dad was our coach, and he would walk behind the dugout to smoke his pipe.
Yeah.
Which was the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
Because he didn't
Gotta
want to
set a
smoke in front of us.
That's right. Got to set a good example for the kids.
Yep.
Let them
So-
know that when you smoke, you got to do it behind the dugout.
Behind the
That's-
dugout, mind you,
that's-
dugouts aren't like they are now. It was just a fence.
Chain link
So you
fence.
could see him smoking behind the dugout. But he wouldn't do it in front of us.
Yeah. No,
Honestly, the best baseball coach I ever had. It was so much fun.
so my CCD teacher taught my grandparents in school.
Yep.
Went through all of my aunts and uncles through CCD. Went through my nieces and nephews ahead of me,
Mhm.
or sorry, my cousins ahead of me, and then went through me. So out of the 3 generations, I was the only one to ever fail CCD.
Not surprised.
Well, so my parents got divorced. The night CCD was my dad's night, and he wasn't gonna not see me. He
Right.
right, like just to go to a Catholic thing. So, yeah, so you can't pass if you don't show. So, yeah, so like, how great is that of a story that 3 generations of the same guy, and he has to walk up to your parents and grandparents and go, nope. So needless to say, I didn't, I did my confession of faith. I didn't do anything above that, and there we are. So
I didn't get that far.
here I am today.
And honestly, my family still thinks I'm a Jew.
Well, you are.
Well, I mean, technically
Yes,
I
yeah.
am because I was born to a Jew. But,
You can't not be.
one of the favorite tweets that Sue put out,
Mhm.
because I hope that kids that played for me can say this type of stuff. He said, "Lucky for me, Coach Joe Mogilla, we're going to say Mogilla,
Sure.
intervened. He sat me down early, walked me through everything I needed to know. His number one piece of advice, Nick, what is it?
Budget regularly.
Absolutely.
Guaranteed.
You have to budget.
Doesn't
Know
matter.
how much you're spending in every category in your life. I still use the spreadsheets I stole from him. You know how excited I was when I read that? I'm like, oh my God, I need to find the Ndamukong Sioux so I can see those spreadsheets. I want to compare.
Yeah, and that's it. It's
Are
just
you following him on Twitter now?
I am following him on Twitter now. I've tagged him about 18 times now, and we're going to talk about you on Wednesday.
No matter how much money you have to budget, right?
You do.
Because we talked about that in our lottery thing.
Yep.
We talked like when you have
That
When
would be
you-
the money windfall.
when
Yeah.
you get a bunch of money, like you still have to know how to handle it. Like whether you're poor, whether you're rich, in order to stay in that zone, you have to know how to handle money, right? I was I was walking into the back door of this place, and
Yep.
of course, one of my favorite people, Gary Vee,
Yep.
pops on, and he's like, people just think I automatically have money. He goes, I was making $41,000 for the first 3 years of my career. He goes, but out of that $41,000, I saved $9,000 each year, right? So 27. He's like, I had 27, more than half of what I had over 3 years. And then I busted my ass and kept going, and going with it. Like, understand that no matter how much you make, you have to save some of it, right?
Yeah, you do.
I do listen to Dave Ramsey, right? And some of my favorite stories are these people that have a $40,000 house. People like, you can't buy 40,000. No, like they live in, wherever, small townville, USA. Like
Yep.
they paid nothing for their house. They make $21,000, like minimum wage, right? Like $21,000 a year. And they have a net worth of $1 million. Like, I absolutely think that's amazing, right? Oh yeah, we just put our 15% away and it just added up and it did everything. Like, you don't have to be rich to get rich, right? Like,
Well, I get the house listings all the time for where I grew up.
Yeah.
And I tell my wife, I'm like, it shocks me that I could go buy a house in Doster right now.
Mhm.
And she goes, well, yeah, but when you were a kid, that's probably seemed unattainable to you. Now, mind you, I have a great house in Plainwell. It's huge.
Yep.
We got 5 acres and we got 8 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. It's an awesome house.
Yep.
But it's on, a regular road where nobody wants to live. It has water because it has a pond, but it's not on a lake,
Right.
so nobody cares.
Yep.
But I could go and buy a house on the lake in Doster because I've been able to acquire that kind of wealth.
well, and I'm not trying to brag. This isn't what this is for. So a friend of mine just got his real estate license, right? Not too long back, and his hope is to build he wants to be around higher end clientele. There's a house on Lake Michigan that he sees that's listed for $3.4 million. Dude, I want to get through this. And so I was like, cool schedule. I'll be your client or whatever. Pops up and the guy goes, the person's like, we need proof of funds. I got you. Hold on, right? Like, boom, proof of funds, send it over. And he's like, I know one person in my life that can do proof of funds for that amount of money. And he goes, it's you. That's it. And it was like, right. But like, if you want to build your business around this type of a thing, you have to get around those types of people. You can't keep surrounding yourself. Again, we talk about that, the average of the 5 people you're around, right?
Yep.
Like, and you need to understand that, hey, if you want to attain something, right? And this house is on Lake Michigan, very nice lake, but it's not going to get you, to me, it wasn't perfect. It's like, I looked at it and said, oh, I can't put a sailboat there. I nitpicked random things out of it, right? And granted, I'm not going to spend $1.4 million on our house.
It is.
Because I'd rather own 20 houses in 20 different locations for $100,000, whatever it is, than own one house that's going to make me house. But
Yeah, but you and I look at the bigger picture too.
100%, right? Like, hey, what can I do? When can I get there? It's funny because the drive to this place, the kid's telling me, or the guy, he's like, oh yeah, this guy does this. This is where he went to school. He did this. He has this business. And I was like, that's the shit you need to know. Like, that's the stuff you need to go find those people.
Yeah.
I go to marketing events to be around this type of a thing, right? Like, when I first went to my marketing event, thought I was the smallest player in the room. Come to find out, I'm in the middle of players in the room. But I need to hang around with the big players, right? Because I need to get to that. And if I never reach theirs, at least I'll get halfway.
So, like, after I'm done working my full-time job tomorrow,
yeah,
I have to come here and work.
Thursday.
Yeah, it's Thursday because my wife has to go to the chamber gala.
Yeah, see,
because she has to go over and schmooze.
Yep.
Now we've gotten appointments out of that, so that's important.
Oh, it's huge.
So I'm great with that. Go do what you need to do. I'll come in and I'll work the business. I'm happy to do it. I worked all day Saturday because we were really, really busy.
Yep.
Which is funny because I get a phone call from him on Friday, and he goes, "Man, I could just really use come see a friend and have a drink."
Yep.
I'm like, "All right, well, come up." And he goes, "Yeah, but you have to work." I'm like, "I'm not working." Right. So Mike came up, and then he came back Sunday because we watched football together. But Saturday I worked the entire day, and those things happen, which that's a good segue into our next discussion here. I think we're going to hit everything we want to hit, and then we're going to get to talk about whatever we want.
We're hoping.
So, Business Insider came out with posts the other day. I shared this with Mike, and they were talking about working from home and what people have gone through during the pandemic and all sorts of stuff. And I thought it was pretty interesting, the things they were saying. So, like, one of the things was people that are working from home are getting sick of working from home, of course, which I don't understand. I've been home for a decade. I'm happy to be home. Don't ever bring me back to the office. I don't want to be there. Now, I know you would prefer to go to the office.
As would I.
As would you. And I think a lot of that comes from the fact that you're an extrovert.
Very much.
You're not necessarily an extrovert, but you like to be around some people.
Yes, I do.
I'm happy to not see anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see anybody. I don't want to talk to anybody. I want to talk to the people I like, but that's probably not people I work with.
You make it a priority to do that, and you've been doing it long enough. Like, where, there's days where I like to be home, right? But not for very long, but I need to have interaction. And again, like, when I did you communicate via Facebook, text, right? Like,
Yep.
Whenever I contact you, what is it? Freaking phone call, right?
Yep.
Like, every time, because I want instant answers. I want them now. This is what it is.
I don't want to sit there and play the text game back and forth with you.
Right. Especially, right? But like, Dave will be like, hey, this is what it is. And then I'll be like, oh, awesome. And then he knows that he'll either call me or I'll call him, because then we'll talk about it, because my
Instant gratification.
my text lingo isn't going to happen. Like, I want an answer and I want it now. Like, my dealing with contractors, it's like, hey, I have to deal with, like, just call me, tell me what it is, boom, get it done.
Well, one of the things they talk about is the boundaries between work and home.
Yep.
So
it's hard to separate
it really is, especially when you work from home.
Yep.
So people have been working more now that they've been at home.
Yep.
Now, I had that.
What's that?
was
I'm sorry.
me, very
Is it
much.
Exactly.
So I worked, I have a regular 9 to 5. I laugh because this morning I was there at 6 in the morning.
Correct.
Job, but it's a regular salary position. And then I've always taught too, and I've explained that's a separate job at the same place. But so I was one of these people that never thought he would like working from home. And in fact, we were told about 2 weeks before the pandemic booted us all out of the office that it was going to happen any day now. In fact, the week before, I was told, take anything you need out of your office. This is a Friday. Take it home because you're probably going to be working from home. And then, sure enough, a few days later, we were. And at first, I was like, oh, this is going to be awful. I don't want to work from home. I want my home to be my house. I don't want it to be work. And I'm going to have to get a whole new routine. And that was true for about 3 months. And then about 90 days into it, I had a routine down pat. 6 months into it, I started to look back at all these work logs I was keeping, and it made me realize, wow, I actually get more work done at home. And then a year into it, I get a lot more work done at home. And why is that? It's because when you're in the office, because human beings are human beings and we're social animals, we like to chit chat and go off on tangents and play games in meetings. And I'm not diminishing the importance of that. Human interaction is very important. But from a productivity point of view, it has to have its limits if your job is to get all kinds of things done every single day. And so now I'm in the position where I'm working in the office some days and at home some days. And it's very interesting because it's been this way since the summer, actually. So now I kind of have this, at the end of the week, I'll evaluate, okay, the days I worked in the office, what did I accomplish? The days I worked from home, what did I accomplish? And if the two don't match up, I ask myself, why? What happened when you were at the office on Wednesday that made you not get X, Y, and Z done that you were able to get done on Thursday? Or conversely, if I had a work from home day and I thought, well, geez, I meant to get that done. Why didn't I get it done that day? Ask myself. So, but the culture is so important. What I realize is that my job is completely different now. Even though ostensibly it's not, I do the same type of work, but it's a very different job when I'm doing it from home
Oh yeah. Well, and
than when I'm
because
in the office.
you hold yourself to, I have to. So I'm dealing with this exact situation right now. So we've kind of talked. I'm a third party person for management. They do pay me, and so they wanted me to start tracking what I do when I do it. So to do billable hours, and I was like, you don't need to, you don't need to know what I do every second of my day. So like, I'm broken down by hours, and so week one, I wrote out like everything, just hey, who I talk to, when I talk to them, how I talk to them, what I, and stuff like that. And then this week, I'm trying to make myself be in the office as much as possible and now on my thing, it's just phone call, email, phone call, email. Where on my last week's schedule is met this contractor, did this. Like I have, and so now like this sheet just shows, okay, hey, so and you're gonna sit here and look and go, why didn't anything get done here? And wow, we did a lot here, but we didn't bill for, like, what can we do here? And it's like, I'm going to show you why I do what I do, how I do it, when I do it. You have questions, here's the answers. So, let's say.
It makes you think about, I mean, the terminology I use, and I even used it way before this pandemic changed our work environment. I used to ask my colleagues sometimes when we'd be planning out projects and whatnot, are we rationalizing our work? Meaning, is there a good reason for doing not only what we're doing, but how we do it? And working from home, when I was keeping work logs, which my employer wanted me to do at first because they didn't know how long it was going to last. And so we did, and we threw them in the shared workspace. And that every time I wrote my work log for the day, it made me think of it right there. Okay, was it a good idea to spend 20 minutes doing this when you were in the office, maybe you spent an hour doing it? Why did it take you so much longer there than it does here, or vice versa? And well, okay, let's think about it. If you were doing this in the office, you would have started working on it, and so-and-so would have come in the cubicle. You guys would have talked for 5 minutes. It would have been an important conversation. But then now you got to go back to the work you were working on, pick up where you left off, and then 5 minutes later, They come back in the cubicle again, and on it goes. They're
Yep.
all important conversations, but yet when you're at home, you get to decide when they happen.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and that was, one of the things that got brought up to me was you go pick up your kid a few days a week or whatever. I shouldn't pay you to pick your kid up. And I said, yes, you should.
Yeah.
Because I literally make sure that I am doing business. Usually I'm texting or making a phone call while I'm driving there. I'm talking while I'm outside waiting for my kid, like, because I want to make sure that when I'm not there, I don't want you to get any inclination that I'm not earning this.
well, and here's
And I will take a 2-minute break to say, hi, honey, how was your day? What did you learn? And she'll say, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. And it's a joke that we have. Like, there's a book that says it. And then we get in the car and she goes, where am I going? And I said, Daddy's got to go to work. Boom, I get back on the phone and do whatever, drop her off. And then, yes, I take another 2 minutes to say goodbye, I love you, I'll see you, whatever. And that's it. Like, so I've taken a 4-minute break. I don't take a break during the day. And yes, and I tell them, I say, hey, look, there is times like I'll go without lunch type thing. But one day a week, I will meet with somebody. And you're right, I do take a 30-minute lunch, right? And I will charge you for that 30-minute lunch because in theory, I'm on the clock all the time. And I'm probably building a relationship to buy next property. Like, to keep
that's an important distinction because, hourly, straight up hourly wage. I've had plenty of jobs like that. You punch in, you get there, you're paid for your time. Yes, you're paid to do work while you're there. But the reason why you're an hourly employee is because you're paid to do that work during a time that the ownership is managing. Salaried employee, the theory is you're paid for a big picture job.
Yep.
And some weeks it takes you 40 hours to do it. Some weeks it takes you 60 hours to do it. Who cares?
Yep.
Okay. We're not paying you hourly. We're paying you to do a job writ large, and we'll figure out how long it takes, but you're not, we're not going to keep track of every minute necessarily. And
last week,
billable hours sounds, that is,
Just-
professional work. An attorney sets his rates at $285 a billable hour, $685 a billable hour. And, the understanding is he answers your phone call. Okay. That's a billable hour. Now, if he answers your phone call and goes back into the law office and does some research, hopefully,
still
then
billable hours.
Still billable hour.
Yeah, and so mine became, I, because of who I am, and I shortchanged myself. If I got a phone call at 6 o'clock and I got done at 6 o'clock at night, 7 o'clock at night, I knew I had a little bit of time, again, picking up my daughter or doing whatever, even though I made sure, like at that time, I'd write down an 8-hour day, right? I wouldn't, or a 9-hour day, right? So I'm charging how busy I felt. Like, granted, in theory, I worked 12, right? So last week on my sheet, right? I got my first text or phone call at the time, and I stopped at 7:30. I said, you made me fill this out. You will now be paying me 13 full hours. I have documented everything that happened. You're going to nitpick that I have to stop the clock once the phone hangs up and then start it again 7 minutes later when the phone rings again. This just isn't going to work for me. Like, right? Like I said, this will be the one reason I quit this job because I'm not going to do this.
Careful what you ask for, right? Because you might get the answer.
Right. So like normally I'm averaging on paper 45, 48 hours. But I tell you what, last week, if I had to do math, I probably will get a check for 20-something hours. Well, it's like last week was just a few week, and like it literally shows, hey, this, and then, I mean, I have everything for, hey, I was at home, okay, did this, sent this email, did this, talked to this person, But ladies in the office once in a while will be like, you don't need to send me an email at 11 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the morning. You're right, I don't have to, but if I don't, that puts me that much behind tomorrow, and I'd rather get it done right now, because if not, or I'll forget, right? And you can't hold me to that responsibility if you're expecting me to be on a phone past 5 o'clock.
So, like at my current job, I've had some great bosses.
Yeah,
I could probably count them on one hand.
Yeah, me.
You have never been my boss.
I will be. I'm going to college just to do it.
Anyways,
Dude, say he loves it.
I remember one specifically.
I'll enroll you in
who-
one of my history classes. We'll have a grand old time.
I remember one specifically who was like 4 bosses ago.
Yeah.
She goes, I've looked at your hours. I'm never going to make you work like that. And I went, okay. And then open enrollment hit. And guess who worked like that?
Yeah.
Because that's what it took to get the job done.
Yep.
And when she left and went to a new department, I got a new boss who decided, we're not paying that anymore. You're going to go salary. Yeah, that's fine. I had no problem going salary, but
I'm working that way.
salary means you're getting 45 hours out of me. You're not getting 90 anymore.
Oh,
So
I remember you working nights.
yeah, things just kind of fell by the wayside for a while until I got somebody else in there that was good at what they did. And then I could train them and say, this is what needs to be done. And they did it. Because unfortunately, you know, when that boss came in that pushed me to salary, person I had was just the sweetest woman. But older, not really technically good at what we needed to be done.
It was like hiring me.
It kind of was like hiring you.
Yeah. Probably.
It might have been. So, I mean, I had to sit there and go, okay, well, when I'm hourly, I'm doing the job of 2 people.
Yep.
Now you've given me salary, so I'm only doing my job now. So don't ask me for anything extra because it's just not happening.
Yep. You know,
And honestly, the best part about working from home for me, I get to spend all the time I want with my cats. I love my cats. I want to be around my cats. I know David has a dog.
Yep.
Likes
And
to be around his dog.
that's right. If I hadn't been working from home, because I work a lot of hours a week and don't even keep track, but it's a lot. And so I'm not home a lot before the pandemic hit. And right before the pandemic hit, this guy right here left me after 13 and a half years.
oh,
That was-
look at
That was
flowers.
Brody.
Brody, and he broke my heart. Dave met Brody.
Brody
And-
was an 800-pound.
Baby.
Horse.
He was a horse, but he was more like the biggest baby you've ever met,
Yes.
and he was huge. He was just
Yeah.
the biggest baby.
Yeah. Very big dog, but a very big heart, just a sweetheart. And
He
it
would
broke
just
my-
lay on you and be happy.
Yeah, and it broke my heart when he left me. But that's what happens. We live, we die, and he did. And so what happened was I went a year, almost to the day after he passed away. I got a little 8-week-old Chesapeake Bay Retriever. That's what type of dog Brody was. I would have never been able to do that had I not been at home, because an 8-week-old puppy, if you ever want to get the thing house trained, which you got to get because
Yeah.
they get big quick and the messes get big quick, you got to be home with him all the time. And I was, and it was great because I had that dog house trained at 4 months. And you know what? That was an opportunity that I would have, I would have never had. And I was able to get every bit the same amount of work done, but because I was at home, you know, the 2 minutes to let him out isn't the 10-minute round trip to the men's room and back I have at the office, because it's way on the other end of the building, and the building I work in is the size of a shopping mall. So, you know, there was certainly no loss of productivity there, but there was a great boost in emotional health.
Well, I mean, you sit there and you're with somebody you care about daily.
Well, and that's
Right.
my working from home minus like the month where I was
Yep.
like only allowed to go into work. Like, well, we had 4 of us in my position. We were told one person from that position had to be in each day. The fact that I was the most senior person in that position, I said I get to come in because I'm the most senior person. But even after that, after school started back up in session, the days I worked from home were the days I had my kid, and it was the same thing. It was because I wanted to be there for what is the most important thing in my life, which is my kids.
Well, of course, yeah. And you know, my colleagues kind of laughed the first time I told them this, but after I said it a couple times, they really got to thinking. Until about 200 years ago, there was never a separation in life between work and family and home. People work by their children their whole lives, and we didn't pay the state to take care of our kids. Now, there's a good reason why we do now, because we want our kids to learn a lot more than what we could have taught them 200 or 300 years
We
ago.
don't want them working for like 30 cents an hour in a factory.
Sure. And yeah, because that wasn't a good way to treat kids. The factory owner loved it because he got little workers that did dangerous things, and he could pay them a few crumbs and be done
You
with
can
it.
stick
But
your hand in that really big machine.
yes, you can crawl under weaving cotton mills and pick up the threads before they light the building on fire. And if you get chewed up in one, oh well, your mom will have one less mouth to feed when she gets home tonight. And it was a horrible world. But my point is, the separation between the home life and work life is a fairly recent phenomenon in society. And at one time, people actually would have been abhorred at the thought of sending their kids away during the day. What do you mean I'm sending my kids away? They're my kids. We don't send them away anymore.
Yeah, now
than,
it's like every employer you have, unless it's a really like crappy employer, one of the things they're asking you about, do you feel you have a good work-life balance?
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure there's places out there that are horrible and don't care.
Well, mind you,
probably serve you. It's probably
absolutely.
one of those, but
I've been at my job 19 years, and work-life balance has always been a big issue. So, like,
and it is where I work too. I mean, my employer is absolutely great about
I
that.
think
They
it
are.
boils down a little bit too to the more professional the job you're doing, the more that people value their balance between their work and their personal.
Sure.
Because yeah, if you're working, like, McDonald's probably cares about the work-life balance of their executives that work in, the big offices, and, maybe even the, store managers and, down to that level. Do they care about the work-life balance of Joe flipping hamburgers?
Oh, heck no.
Probably not.
Well, so, most people don't know this. I actually worked at McDonald's for a very short period of time.
5 days.
some people might not know this, but Mike and I worked together at Wendy's for a short period of time.
No, mine was.
We worked together for sure.
We worked there together for like a year and a half.
I had a manager, so I was not raised to sweep. I'm not a great sweeper. And I had a manager push me, and I hit my shoulder into a wall, right? Because like a protruding wall, and I hit my shoulder. I was like, yeah, F this, like I'm out. It was funny because they actually called me after I didn't show up for like a week or something. And I was young and whatever I was. I said, are you the stupidest people I've met? Like, I literally was pushed by somebody, physically harmed. Like, at the time, I thought I was going to be a bull of God, right? I was like, they hurt my shoulder. Like, I should sue you for everything because
You might
don't,
be a bull.
right? Like, you should never lay your hands on somebody. Like, that's not a way to manage. And so when I traded them, I think I only worked probably 4 hours that week, right? And so my paycheck was going to be $32 minus tax. Yep. And they gave me like 4 pairs of black pants, which I could use in bowling. so I kept my uniform. The only way you can get your money back is bring your uniform in. And I said, well, no, it's cool. Like $8 a pair of pants. Like I'm
Yeah, that's sure.
Like
you made out all right. $8.
we've called this an even trade. I did all right. Like, so
I gotta say, honestly, I didn't know people when you worked at like, I don't want to say a menial job, but a menial job. I didn't know people made you pay for the shirts and crap because we worked at Wendy's. I didn't have to pay for a shirt.
Wendy's say always supplies.
We didn't have to pay for it.
Since we were.
It probably has because Caitlin has to buy her shirts.
Oh, really? No.
Oh, yeah?
So my brother was too at Meyer.
Yeah.
But, so like McDonald's will give you X amount of uniforms. You can buy more. But
Caitlin got one.
Getting 4 pairs of pants at that young of an age, and we couldn't afford pants to be a bowl in, right? Like, so I needed black dress pants to bowl in or khaki pants, which is. So I was like, dude, I have 4 pair of pants, and I've never owned 4 pair of black pants, and I'm wearing.
Yeah, and even like I'm going to assume this was at least a few years ago, but geez, even when I started working, which was almost 30 years ago, God, it's hard to believe it's been.
I'm almost that
old.
old.
Yeah, you're almost that old. It $8 even back then would have been a pretty good deal if they were a decent pair of trousers.
They
made out all right.
I think they were Dickies, to be honest. Like,
Yeah, and those things are thick. I mean, you could like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
take a
Well,
knife up to them. And
I have a nice, I have a nice, like, as big of a guy as I am, I have a nice slide, right? So like my legs go pretty far, like, so I didn't. I'll rip a pair. I usually rip at least one pair of pants a season, right? Like,
I haven't been bowling in probably, I don't know, 30 years. So, or
Yeah.
close to it. Geez, it's been at least 25. But is there a dress code? I'm going to ask out of ignorance. Is there a dress code? You generally should wear a nice pair of slacks when you bowl, or is that just
in competition.
in competition? Okay.
Yep. So
I'm sure it's similar to like how golfers,
Yep,
competitive
exactly.
golf.
Exactly. Yep.
It's okay.
Slacks and a polo type thing. So just as much as in competition bowling. So like when I go to nationals, right? I can't wear shorts. I can't wear pants with pockets on the sides.
Like,
Like,
wears bucks and Brews.
correct. Actually, if I put a collar on it, I could wear it. So like now fun jerseys are kind of the big thing.
Next.
Yeah.
Next investment, collar, bucks and Brews shirts.
Oh my
Yeah, and
goodness.
you guys can sponsor.
X right off this thing.
That's right. Sponsor this bowling.
Yeah. So if people would start donating a little more, everybody
Yeah.
listening.
They donate beer every once. They're not going to donate money.
We've had a couple people give us a couple bucks.
You guys ought to get jerseys.
They
Nick,
should,
I
they
know
should be
you're
saving that
soccer
cash
fan.
for investment.
well, yeah, and
No,
you
I said
guys could
the people
sell
donating
your.
one should be saving that cash for investment.
Nope, you have to give some money to live life.
But Nick,
But
you
no,
guys could sell. You could make jerseys for your show, and you could sell advertisements on it, just like the soccer teams do, right? So it could be the,
Oh my gosh, yeah, we could.
yeah, see,
Right? Sponsored by like the strip club and
There you go.
Bud Light.
whatever, yeah,
all the other
whatever,
fun-
man. You go out and just pound doors in the town and just keep bidding it up. Say, hey, your neighbor was going to buy one for $20.
Yep.
Strip club, really?
Dude, think about that.
Strip club doesn't have to play manana anymore. They only have Angus beef steak.
Yeah,
Think-
seriously.
Well,
think about-
you
think
know,
about
my
on a
favorite,
national-
my favorite advertisements that you see on a lot of the European soccer teams is it's always sports gambling teams.
Always.
Or companies, almost always. So it's
Hey,
like, the
that's
guy's
a
running
little
down,
Michigan.
he's standing there, he's gonna make a corner kick, and there it is, bet4u.com.
My wife goes all the time. She's like,
Shut
why do you care about this Thursday night game? I'm like, because Fox Bet gives me a free $5 bet every Thursday night. And I'm trying to win $4 whole dollars.
She should know by now that $4 on free bet is like
That's huge.
just exterminate.
She sent me a message earlier today and she goes, hey, just so you know, if these two teams win, I had a free bet I used on MGM and I'll win like $25. I'm like, awesome.
There you go.
I don't know which NHL teams. I know the Rangers was one. I don't know the other one.
Oh, I thought, yeah, sorry.
Well, don't bet on the
When I see
Red
those
Wings.
ads about
Don't
like,
bet on the Red Wings. You'll lose. They're not good anymore. They used to be, but
Have you met the Lions?
well, yeah, I
I gotta honestly
Lions-
say, I was so pissed about Sunday's game because I hate the Vikings and I was rooting for the Lions and we're watching, games and shit. And I'm like, oh my God, they went for two. They got it. They're gonna win. And Mike goes, there's 37 seconds left.
that's
And I'm
right.
like,
And I was watching a game with my brother, and I said to him
and they
when there's
get
about
back- okay, go, yeah.
a minute left in the second quarter, I said, Dan, I guarantee the Lions are going to lose this game. And so then they're marching down the field. There's a couple minutes left, and the guy scores a touchdown. And Dan says, I bet they go for the 2-point conversion. Oh, they did, and they made it. And then that's when we looked at the clock. We said, yeah, there's 37 seconds left. This team has no defense whatsoever. It ain't
What
over
happened
yet.
the
And
week
sure enough,
before, where the guy hits a record-setting field goal,
yeah,
bounces in the
I know.
crossbar,
I watched
Yeah.
that.
and they lose.
I didn't watch last week's because I'm officially done. Like, I
you
know-
were out and doing stuff.
Yeah, I was just enjoying my life because, and everybody knows, like, I love football, right? Like,
Yeah.
But I know I take it to, like, we scored the touchdown 2 weeks ago. I'm cloud nine, cheering, I'm whatever, right? And then we get the no penalty for whatever. I throw something at my TV, and I think it was one of those poppets from my daughter. I was glad it was rubber.
So you
I was
didn't break it.
Yeah, so I was like, oh my gosh, all right, like, I
I
have
gotta
a
turn
problem.
into a cynic.
And then,
It's
and then,
gotta
and then he,
turn into a sin.
and then he kicks it, and I like my wife, like she just turned the TV off. She didn't say anything.
Mhm.
Like I was just like it reminded me of like why I don't take things serious anymore. Like we just left. I said okay, like because I do. I take it to heart. Like I'm a fan, right?
can't.
But like I want.
You want your team to do well.
No, I
You
want
do,
my team
but
to
you
actually
can't-
fucking win. I don't care about well.
You
Okay.
can't overdo
I
it though.
don't care about well.
Here has learned one thing for me when I went at something either he really cares about or we both really care about. Basically, for me to just shut up and not say anything.
Yep.
Because many Cubs games that we've watched, I've said, unfortunately, this could still happen, and it happened.
Yes, all the time.
So
Sometimes it's good. Like a couple of years ago, he goes, "Hey, it'd be really cool if Javi hit a home run here." And then Javi hits a home run, and we're like,
Yeah.
"Yeah."
I've talked about this. I talk about that game. I can't remember what year it was, but we were at Wrigley Field.
Yep.
We were playing the game where we each picked a player, and depending what the
That
player
would have been
picked
in
up,
1998.
got points.
They were playing the Arizona Diamondbacks.
And I'm
It's pathetic. I know this. You had Devin White.
Yeah, but it was like Ken or somebody was in the lead,
No, it wasn't Ken. I think it was Bill.
maybe Bill. And I made a comment about, well, you're in the lead, but if like people are idiots, a home run here, you're going to lose to whoever else.
And he did.
Home run gets
I think it was Devin White. If Devin White hits a home run here, and I think he did. Mind you, the Cubs still won, which was great for us. But that dude, I think it was Bill, was totally pissed off because he lost.
And like I said, I tell this story. It was one of my sister Meg was, I don't know, maybe 96. So it was like the Olympics. It was back when McDonald's would do
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
peel
yeah.
offs for the Olympics.
Yep.
And
Oh,
if
yeah.
the US won a gold medal in that event, you'd get something for, you get a prize.
In '96, they were in Atlanta.
Yep.
So they were
And my
in the
sister
US.
was like, I hope I get basketball. And I said you're gonna get something like, women's lightweight judo and like field hockey. And she got like 2 things, and it was literally women's judo
Yeah.
and field hockey.
I think that's called intuition.
It's
What's
not
the
called
name?
intuition, but it's just randomly guessing.
But-
what's today's daily free?
I was
I'm
giving
gonna
you a
play.
compliment.
It-
Call it
5.
intuition. It makes you look smart, right?
In all honesty, Mike, they only printed one men's basketball.
Probably, yes. Similar to Boardwalk.
Right.
They would put out.
Exactly. No, they would print Boardwalk. They wouldn't print Park Place.
Never would have 7,500 Boardwalks, but one.
On Park Place.
I
And the person that got Park Place would throw that shit away.
all the time.
Yeah.
I said me, I would just play for like the $3, like the free large fry or
Yeah.
something. Right?
Yeah, it was just that's why David has learned if it's something he really cares about, he's got to tell me to shut up.
Yeah,
while
shut
I'm
up.
watching it.
Yeah, well,
Because he wanted the Vikings to lose.
I did. I
But it
really
wasn't
wanted.
gonna be the end of the world. The Vikings won. Oh, he didn't get mad at me.
Nope.
Saying,
Well,
there's still 37 seconds left, and it is
yeah.
the Lions.
it's the Lions, and that's it. You can't get too upset about it. When I was pretty little, I don't know, 5, 6, I remember watching I can't remember if it was I think it was the divisional playoff. I don't think it was the NFC Championship game. The Lions played I think it was the 49ers. But anyways, it came down to a field goal. And the Lions missed it, and they lost, and they were out of the playoffs. And it was the early 80s. And I remember my dad
Probably
getting
one of
mad.
the years that this actually went on to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Might have been the
and,
first one, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I remember my dad getting kind of upset about it. And at that time, I thought to myself, why would you get that upset about something stupid you're watching on TV? I'm just a
Money
tiny
on it.
little kid. And ever since then, I'm as big of a Lions fan as the next guy here. But I just laugh when they do stupid stuff because it's the Lions. They're going to do it. I mean, look, you don't need to look any further than the Lions had Jim Caldwell, probably the best coach of that team had since Bobby Ross, and no probably about it.
Yep.
They fired him for having a winning record. They get a guy who has absolutely no experience as a head coach. They get a general manager who got coffee for Belichick for 8 years, and that was his expertise in drafting NFL players. And when they did that, I said to myself, okay, so if you're going to fire a guy, you're going to get somebody in that's better. They didn't. I bet this doesn't turn out too good. And boy, it didn't. People talk about the Lions being snake bit. No, they aren't. They're owned by a family that has not a clue as to what they're doing. There's no black magic about it.
They
They're
do dumb
owned-
things.
Yes, they're owned by ownership that does stupid things. They always have been since the early 1960s. Here's a little fact for you. The Detroit Lions, William Clay Ford became the majority owner of the team. He owned shares in them before, private shares, the way it was set up. But he became the majority owner of the team, meaning the owner of it, on the same day that John F. Kennedy was assassinated.
Really?
Yep. That is the day that he inked the deal. So
That's
Ford
basically-
family they've owned that team for a long, long time. And the Lions have never gone to the Super Bowl since the Fords have owned that team.
Yep. They were championship winners before that time. The
Absolutely, they
50s.
were. Yep. And I
Like-
hate to break the news, but as long as the Fords own that team, they'll never go to the Super Bowl. It won't happen because they aren't capable of building a management structure that would allow it to happen.
So
They've
I believe-
proven it.
I believe today is the day.
That I
In
bought my
today.
first house.
No,
You're absolutely correct.
In like-
no, really, it is.
Congratulations.
2012.
Thank you.
In like 2012,
No, it was 2010.
the Cubs decided to change their fate and they hired Theo Epstein.
You might be right.
I'm pretty sure I saw that. It was either yesterday or today. I want to say it was 2012. And again, a losing franchise for years and years and years. Yeah, they had some times where they were good. I mean, they were good in 90 or 89, 98,
84.
84, 2003. But for the most part, I mean, again, lovable losers.
And they were good for a season.
Correct. They never
Yeah.
had multiple seasons where they were good until they hit 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
Right. Well, you didn't have Illich trying to pull a Yankees and literally buy one World Series before he died, and then have your team get swept in the playoffs and then sell off all the greatest pitchers that we've all seen
Yeah, but
out of so many. Let's not talk about sports anymore. Let's get back to some finance because I'm done with my Detroit.
So
teams,
do
okay?
you want to hit retirement here before we got to go?
Yeah.
Because
I do.
mean, we got about 19 minutes left.
Watch this. Ready, David?
Yeah.
Nope. Sorry, Mr. Seawick.
Yes.
When are you going to retire?
When I'm tired of working.
For you, you love what you do.
Yeah.
You have a passion. You care about it. Benson?
I'm gonna retire. I mean, I'll work until my kids are, adults and everything. So that gives me at least 12 more years. Well, Addie graduates from high
Sure.
school. If I'm happy at my job, I might work 5 years beyond that. I might still be pretty close to 65 by the time I retire.
So we brought up Mikey, which is one of David's best friends.
You will never retire.
Right, because and I wish we had him here, right? 'Cause-
I really do, because again, when we look at retirement,
so
go ahead.
yeah, no, you're like when we look at retirement, it's you have to have a plan of action to get there, right?
Well, and he's 46 years old. And I know he had a 401k when he worked at Big Top.
Sure.
But I remember when Harding's bought Big Top out or bought Steve out and he sold the store in Plainwell.
So Lou.
Yeah, that he cashed out the 401k because he needed to pay off some bills. Which, okay, fine, but I don't think he has any retirement since then. Which pushes us to, are you ever going to get to retire?
So you and I, we talked off air. I gave you a phone call yesterday. So like,
Yeah.
my life has changed. It's
Yep.
technically not my life, but my business has changed, right?
Correct.
My mom is now 12 days from getting let go from her job that she's had for 41 or 42 years at Steel Hands Corporation. Right? She had surgery a year ago, took medical leave. It did not heal well. She went however long, had to have a second surgery, and cannot really walk or stand on her
It's
foot
more
for
of
long
a
enough.
medical
It is a
Retirement, then.
So it's not a retirement, right? So they're going to let her go.
Yeah.
She is 59 in November.
Yep.
She'll be 59 and a half, 6 months after that. Which, so in,
Really? 59 and 6. You're 59 and a half.
so May, right? So I guess because yeah, so May 20 something. So then she can start drawing something from somewhere. So, you know, when I tell you guys I grew up poor, and I give my mom credit, I had no idea up until a little bit ago.
Yep.
We grew up. I mean, to the day, right? If you ask me how much my mom had as her bank account, I'll tell you $200, right? Like maybe if she's lucky right now, and that's she might have got paid, who knows? But like, she was very smart, and she invested well. So now she has a decent amount of money in her retirement, and that's all going to go bye bye. That time she passes.
Right.
Right.
But that's the goal, right?
Right. Well, exactly. That like, if you end up with one dime in your account, that if you have nobody, you leave the dime to who gives a shit.
Yep.
You leave a dime to one kid, that they get a dime. If you leave a dime to two, they get 5 cents, right?
Yeah.
Like, she happens to have 3 of us.
You'll just get 3.5 cents.
No,
3.3 cents.
So here's the truth. So I'm looking through my mom's finances. This is what's gonna be really fun to me. So I'm sitting here and I'm helping my mom figure all this out. My sister gets 33.34. My brother gets 33.33, and I get 33.33 of whatever's left. Granted, of 0, it's fuck you. But I looked at her and I said, "I'm not fucking helping you unless you change this." Right? Like I better get that.
You better get that extra
right?
percent.
Like, do you see my sister anywhere?
You want the 4 cents, and you
Yeah.
each of your
Sibling
siblings
love.
Yeah, like
Sibling love. You
I was
gotta,
like,
you gotta
have you seen my sister?
Well,
No,
I mean,
so-
honestly,
you know my
Nick's
sister.
right because his sister's not worth that extra 0.1.
Oh,
Point oh
man.
one.
0.01.
Ah.
It's like, oh.
I don't want to eat
Either way.
Thanksgiving dinner with you guys. Jeez Louise.
No, it's like we talk talked once in a year, and twice. But yeah, so so my family and I don't talk. Everybody knows this. Like it's a very open thing.
I used to talk to your family, but I don't anymore.
Quite a bit actually. which
I
is
did,
really-
yeah.
David and I became friends because of my sister.
Yeah,
right?
technically, yes.
I mean, in theory. Like, you knew my
It
sister,
helped.
and I said, "Okay, hey, cool. Oh, you know her too."
I thought it was grandpa or whatever.
Well,
through
it
softball,
was.
but like, so it's through. Oh, hey, you're Archie's grandson. Okay, cool. And then it was like, oh, we live next to your sister. And I was
So-
like, oh, no shit. Like,
So Nick tossed out the biggest dickhead softball coach in Grand Rapids at the time.
yeah.
And then we get a message from his sister that goes, "I heard my brother kick somebody out. I'm coming." And we're like, "That's your brother." I didn't know.
Just had to see him in action, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I was a lot thinner at the time. Probably like 150 pounds, if not more. But
I got a picture on my
I
phone.
was still 6 foot something tall. This dude's looking at me
And
in
he
the chest.
was 4'8".
Yeah, I would say. But no, so like. I tell
Nick,
what,
are you
like,
6 foot something?
I'm 6'1", probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not anywhere near 6 feet tall, and I, probably don't weigh quite what you do. So I bet I would look kind of small if I was next to you.
So
Small, just
Here-
next to all 3 of us.
well,
Other than
here-
you might be more
here's the funny
David in
thing.
terms of height.
So my mom is probably like 5'4", 5'5". My brother, or my 2 brothers, excuse me, my 2 brothers are 5'6". My sister is 5'6", or so. My 2 brothers might be 5'7", right? And then you have me at 6'1". My father is 6 foot tall. Like it blows my mind. Like I'm the only one that got the growth out of us. So like when I was thinner, right? Like I
You
was
used
like,
it all up.
right. I got the best of everything at one point in my life. I was much thinner, going, all right, like my one brother has 100 pounds on me, plus 6 inches shorter than me, at least, right? My other brother is probably 100, 150 pounds lighter than me, and still 6 inches shorter than me. And my sister now, I mean, dude, she's probably 300 pounds lighter than me. Like she's skin and bones, but so I'm the only one that's actually, like, I look above my entire family.
But here's an important part of the twist.
Oh, factual statement. I probably do. My sister might give me a run for my money.
She might, but it's definitely not as long.
Yeah. No. But when we look, so I know, like I've been talking to my mom. So I talked to David and I said, hey, look, like now we're getting to serious points, right? Like I need me to take my emotions out of this, and I need to do this. And so like I told him, I said, hey, I talked to my mom, and I said, Mom, what do you want to do with this amount of money? And she goes, I need it to last the rest of my life. And I said, okay, if it lasts you the rest of your life, and you end up with zero, oh yeah, it's exactly it. You can show the camera. That's okay.
You had short hair.
I've always been bald, man. No, like I'm the youngest. My next youngest brother became bald at 16 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I used to brag to these guys that I have a full. I didn't probably start becoming bald until probably 20.
That's why you've got it all down here. Just went from here to here. That's all that happened, right? You're not bald. You just need to tell them to look at the other part of your face.
Yeah, the same. But
bottom of my head, not top.
I had a luscious mane. I mean, all through high school, I had hair and stuff like that.
I just want to say that Borat's son, Huey Lewis, had a full pubis.
But so I talked to my mom and she says she doesn't want any of the money, right? Like I said, so if you leave us nothing, you're okay with that? And she said yes, and I said, she goes, is that bad? And I said, no, it's a very honest response that is very respectful. Like truly, like from the bottom of my heart, I don't care. Like I tell my grandparents, so my grandpa now, I'm like, dude, if you pass and you have nothing, who gives a shit? Like you've made it in life, right? Like don't live your life, but living the way you do. Like, and everybody's like, no, you gotta do this. And I was like, leverage your house to the hilts, do anything the fuck you want. Like I don't care.
It's the same argument I have with my mother over the money Aunt Sue left.
Right.
Do what you need to do. I don't need your money.
Right. And cool. If I get
you can always sell that grain for $20 at some point.
Oh, that grain's gonna be worth $8.95.
So and so I was like, all right, hey, awesome. At least now I have a game plan, right? So then I go to David and I'm like, hey, what do you think about saying fuck you to this money? And he's like, you're being honest, you're all for it. And then right, so like now we're in the middle of talking about, hey, how do we make my mom's life livable? Right? Yeah. Like she needs to last 30 more years, right? I mean, if she goes longer, awesome. But let's be honest. I mean, she's already falling apart.
Well, we figure 89 is a decent enough age.
Very much, right? Like,
so if we can get her to 89, we're doing what we need to do.
And then people are like, oh, you're an asshole. No, guess what? Like, but 30 years from now, I'm going to have fuck you money. Like, no disrespect to anybody listening. I'm not trying to be an asshole, but like,
well, I mean, I'm at the same point. I don't want my mother's money because I'm going to have money.
Right. Like, I will officially be able to front whatever the hell she needs.
Yep.
From 90 to 107, right? Like, but 30 years of fronting her money, no. But like now, if I can make her give me 30 more years so I can build my wealth,
yep,
awesome. Like, and if I fail, guess what? I failed, but like she'll be in dementia, she'll never know, right? Like, so it's just so and I love to pick David's brain because he understands that. I respect David because he understands that I don't come from greed. I come from how do I make the right decision, and he has a very non-biased opinion because he comes from I don't give a shit what happens because I know I get $0, 0 cents out of it.
Yep.
So we both pick each other's brain and go. And dude, I threw like 10 ideas by yesterday, like really quick,
and we kept talking about them to figure out which one sounds the best.
Yeah, and then I was like, I gotta hang up. I gotta call this person. I gotta call this person. And here it is, like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, and I'm like, I'm leaving voicemails for people. Like,
so
this is gotta happen.
I'm gonna interrupt this. We don't have much time left, but
yeah.
I'm gonna tell a quick story.
Yeah.
So you're speaking of dementia.
Yeah.
So my grandmother, gets to the point of dementia.
Yep.
And I want David will find this interesting. I think Mike already knows this. So I was never David. I was Eddie or George, which are her two brothers. I was Jack or Jackson, which we have no idea who the hell that was. One time, I was Mikey. And she told that to one of the aides at the place she was at. And she looks at me and she goes, your name's Mikey? I said, No, Mikey's my best friend. He's like 6'2" and blonde and skinny. And she goes, okay.
Billy.
Which Dawn was Gertrude or Geraldine. My mother was Anna or Stephanie, which were also her sisters. Caitlin was always Caitlin, which shocked the hell out of us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's say, David, Seawick, any information you'd like to give us before we split ways here?
No, I think I had my little rant on the Lions. So you guys gave me that platform for a minute and a half. That was nice of you. So thank you. No, I think we're good for now.
Good. I hope to have you back. I
Yes,
appreciate
I'd love to.
I appreciate your telling us honestly that you applied for a job with master's degrees and literally getting offered 15.
Not a
Because
contract.
right,
So
because
not even guaranteed work.
That's right.
Yeah.
Not even guaranteed work.
and like we talk about the money aspect of it. It's funny because like I make more than my wife. People don't know that, but like when I brag to people, it's that my wife makes good money doing contract work. Right, she does in-home therapy, and this is where she makes real money. Right, like as an OT, I'm like, man, it's like big dollars an hour type thing. I'm like, if they would offer her $15 an hour, I'd literally tell her to tell them where to shove it, how they could shove it, and when to shove it. Right, like, but for you as a professor to be offered 15, that's just a slap in the face.
Well, and yeah, because and believe me, I would have no problem working for $15 an hour if it was a job that the expectation was it's a $15 an hour
sorting
job.
gumballs, right?
Yeah, there's
like,
not a lot of skill. There's not a lot of expectation. We'll put you in a room. We'll have you sort gumballs, count
right.
the number of dots in the ceiling, and when the time's up, you go home. But
Like when I was delivering food for
actually, I just realized that we have just 4 minutes left. I want to talk about this. So
DoorDash.
I don't do it anymore.
Not doing it anymore. How much did you make during the time that you did it?
We made for $3,000.
$2,000 or $3,000. Where's that money invested?
A little bit of everywhere.
But all of it is invested. All right. So from the time you started to where you are now, has it gained money?
Of course.
So it has. Of course, it's not normal. But like,
well, I mean, because I'm smart about where I haven't put it like into like that one. I didn't put into but I put it into things like Betterment and things like Public and stats that do like and it may have lost some money, but with the fact that it's dividend stocks and things like that.
So are you reinvesting your dividends?
Of course.
So what was the reason to stop doing it?
I owe money when I pay taxes.
Totally understand
I
that.
had what I figured would be about a break-even point. So I'm like, I'm not going to do it for this year. I can start it again next year.
Yeah, and that's perfectly understandable.
Yeah. I mean, not to me, because you need to pay your damn taxes and be an American. Like the rest
he's
of
going
us.
to pay his taxes. He just doesn't want to pay extra.
Pay more in your taxes, like the rest of us. Okay. You know how much my tax bill is? I'll trade you.
All right, 2.5 minutes, my friend. Hit your favorites.
I would say we have 2.5 minutes. So I want you to like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your family. Truly, big shout out to the people who have reached out to us, who have answered our questions on Facebook, Twitter. Guys, really thank you so much for joining us. Big shout out to Distill Brewing, because you sponsored us.
They gave us a free 6-pack.
Yeah, Hawaii 5 Ale, blonde ale with pineapple, coconut, mango, peach, and guava. Tropical blend, really, really good. A shout out to Founders for their solid gold. And Dirty Bastard was drank tonight as well.
Yeah, I drank some Dirty Bastard.
We had some Blakes and some
Pigeon
Hill and some Saugatuck. So thanks to all of them, because they make delicious beers.
They do make delicious.
Thank you again to Mike for driving up and for David for joining us. We love it when you guys are on.
Yeah,
we get to talk.
Put it on a night that I'm free, and I'll either drive up or I'll join via Zoom.
Well, we're usually Tuesdays now for the most part, which you're usually free on, so that's a good thing. We will not have a regularly scheduled program next week because Mike and I will be on a boat in the middle of the Atlantic. So
Good for you.
I'm
Good for
so
you.
excited.
And I usually,
No, I'm really am
As-
happy for you guys. You guys,
Yeah.
I don't like to tell people they've earned it, but you've done the steps that it takes to get there.
As usual, we're gonna keep talking for a minute or two after we close this off here, but thank you to MLVC or MLCV.
Oh my goodness.
I think it is. Star Wars Chris and his buddy for coming up with our awesome new theme song.
Yeah, it's very excited to have that start being our home opener.
It's awesome.
It's gonna be hard for us
It
not
really
to talk
is.
while this thing plays.
It
We're
really
excited.
is. So excited about that. Thanks everybody for joining us. If you have questions, please reach out. We'd love to answer questions. And there will be a new episode probably dropping on Sunday before I leave, just so you guys aren't
Nope.
waiting for something.
That's
So
right. And we'll try to get together one more time before you take off.
oh, I'm always down with that. We can throw another one in a can or something.
David,
So,
take care. Mike,
for-
take
all right,
care.
you betcha.
All right.
You
For
guys,
Podbean, bye-bye, and we'll stay on for a minute other places.
Bye, Podbean.
So
Bye.
Podbean is off. We have a new follower on Podbean. That's awesome. Here's Twitch. I can end Twitch.
Instagram, dude, that ends way faster than it goes live.
It does, doesn't it? I can stop